I love it. So when you were dealing with this personally, it must have been uncomfortable. How did you decide to start sharing your story? Weren't you scared of being judged, ridiculed?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. It took 4 years to really get to that place of acceptance. And it all really was a defining moment, which is an interesting story. I went and took this weekend long seminar called the Landmark Forum. And it's like the self-development, setting goals, looking inside and really determining, what kind of stories do you tell yourself to make up your truth? And my story was, I'm not going to be happy. I'm always going to have this mental illness. It's always going to ruin my life. And I had this perception. But when I took the seminar on the last day, there was 500 people there. You bring your friends and your family, and you share about your wins and what you learned. And only a few of us were able to go up because there's so many people. And I remember the facilitator said, does anybody want to come up and share? And I'm like, just put my hand up. I didn't even know what I was going to say. Oh, wow. And I went up to the front in front of 500 people and I looked around, I grabbed that microphone and I'm shaking and I'm red and I'm out of breath and I'm so scared, so scared. And then I just said it. I said, hey, everybody, my name's Andrea and I have bipolar disorder and I'm not bipolar disorder. Oh. I have a mental illness, but I'm not defined by that illness. And I actually can live an amazing life. And it was mic drop that moment, not literally, but it felt like it. Yeah. And it was an absolutely astounding feeling because that's when I decided I wanted to make it my mission because I felt like I had a story to tell. And if I could share that story that I survived, that I got through, how I did it, I didn't want others to suffer in silence. It was just really that simple. And that led to the creation of the charity. As I mentioned, I was really scared at first, but now when I talk about it on podcasts or, at a speech, it feels as natural as just talking to a family member in a living room.
Mm. Well, and that's what they say when we're scared to talk about what bothers us. It holds us, right? It has power over us. It controls us. But so often I've chat with a few guests about mental health, and they say as soon as you start telling your story, others go, me too. And then it loses control over you, right? A little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, it takes away that hold, that shame. And I call it, as many of us call it, the self-stigma. There's so many forms, or there's three kinds of stigmas, right? There's social stigma, structural, which is in institutions, workplaces, etc. And then there's self, where we are ashamed of something like whether it's a mental illness or the color of our skin, or we hold a negative connotation to that. And when we can let go of that self-stigma, then I think we're really free.